All right. Tell me briefly your story about the loss of your home and what happened after.
What happened was, like everybody in the Palisades whose houses burned to the ground or whose houses burned to the extent that they had to um, leave them, or whose houses had so much smoke damage that they weren't livable. We were displaced. We lost every single thing that we owned, and had to make immediate decisions. We moved into a hotel, and after, in the first 11 days we were in the hotel, we spent a lot of time looking at houses to rent, and couldn't get them. There was so much competition for the houses that we lost out on a couple that we bid on, liked and bid on. Somebody then told us to go look at a house at Calabasas, and we went to look at it. It was for rent, but when we got there, it turns out the owner really wanted to sell it, and there were some other people who were interested in buying it. And we did the math in our heads and said, if we put down 25%, the amount we're going to have to pay on a mortgage is going to be thousands of dollars less than we would be paying to rent. So this makes sense. So we made a snap decision because we were under so much stress to buy the house. We leased it to buy it so we could move immediately in, and with the idea that it would close in a couple of weeks. Everything was high pressure. When we got in, nothing was disclosed to us about being any problems with the house. It wasn't disclosed that it had sold 6 months earlier and fell out of escrow. Um, Fortunately, when we had inspections done, the inspections came back, and indicated that there were water problems in the house. And we made a decision, because I'm familiar with water problems from having handled many mold cases over the years, that this was not a house that we could live in. So we backed out of it. We were able to stay in the house for up to a month, and during that time, we're fortunate enough to find another house that we moved into, and it's been fabulous. That's my story, but it's not everybody's story. I've been contacted by people, and have one client right now, and but others who have told me similar stories, where uh, this this client, his house was burned in the Palisades fire. He had to move immediately. Same story I had. He found a house through a broker that he really liked. Nothing was disclosed to him about there being problems in the house. His broker failed to detect that there were problems in the house. The seller's broker failed to detect that they were problems in the house, and everything was rushed. He ended up buying the house within 15, 17 days, something like that. And without going into a lot of detail, when he moved into it, he later discovered that there were huge problems, that it had major renovation work because of the huge problems, and that none of this had been disclosed to him. And he's now in the process. This is a guy who had the stress of losing his home and all of his possessions, having to move on, within days, find a place to live, being under the immense pressure of all that. He finds a house, he thinks he's set, and now the house is a whole new set of problems. He's having problems negotiating with his insurance company on the house that burned. They're not paying him, and he's under pressure. He's now got to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to do the corrections in the house. Um, and unbelievable stress, and both he and his wife have some physical problems as well as the emotional problems from, and the stress and anxiety from going all through all this. There's cases